Hello, I'm Christina Speed, a Middle Tennessee State University student seeking my master's in strategic leadership. I have just completed an internship offered to me by Vanderbilt University Medical Center to audit their provider scheduling templates and report back to the Senior Customer Relations Manager in the Strategic Access Support Department. The position was approved and began shortly after May 28, 2024, and lasted for approximately 10 weeks. This presentation will explain the internship, how it affects services provided by VUMC, and how my coursework in the program impacted my internship and career. The internship project was headed by Nicole Freitas. She is the Senior Customer Relations Manager for the department and was assisted by Megan Skipworth, an Epic Configuration Analyst. The primary focus of the project was to analyze scheduling templates for Vanderbilt's outpatient cancer clinics. We focused on the utilization rates for new patients according to each provider's scheduling template. Vanderbilt has pillar goals, and these utilization rates of new patients fall within those pillar goals. The goal is for all new patients to be seen within 14 days of scheduling the appointment, and is just one aspect of an overarching project that it was created by the Vice President of the Patient Access Services Department to increase scheduling effectiveness and efficiency for all outpatient services. The primary tools I used throughout this project were Tableau and Microsoft Excel. Tableau is a visual analytics platform that allows users to access large databases and easily organize and analyze the data. I use Tableau to access and pull scheduling data from targeted clinics and providers over a specific range of dates and locations. Once the data was located, I exported it to Excel for analysis. Using pivot tables, I would sort the scheduling information by blocks of new patient visit types, looking for any discrepancies or trends that might impact the pillar goal. The spreadsheet also helps paint a picture of new patient utilization rates by provider department at a glance and in an easy to digest format. Analyzing scheduling practices for the clinics, patterns developed showing that several providers were having clinic staff split new patient blocks, which tend to have longer durations than other types of scheduling blocks, into multiple in-person or telehealth return blocks, shorter blocks. New patient block splitting across all review departments suggests that this trend is directly impacting utilization rates for new patient scheduling outside the goal of 14 days. Some of the providers were more prolific in their choice to split the new patient blocks than others, but the trend among most clinics reviewed was that not utilizing new patient blocks as designed appears to have the greatest negative impact on reaching the designated goal. This information will provide clear evidence and a strong case for clinic leadership to address these practices and work with their clinics to bring their utilization rates in line with expectations. The data I gathered and analyzed was submitted to the project leaders to be compiled with additional information and developed into a high-level report for clinic leadership and other key stakeholders. This project's effort will be added to a number of other similar projects working in tandem to offer a comprehensive effort to bring outpatient services in line with the goals for best practices set forth by VUMC. Each year, Vanderbilt University Medical Center uses its pillar goals for the organization, five categorized goals that focus on their commitment to patient-centered services, best practices, and continual growth and development of the organization to best serve the community. The internship project touched on the goals in the service, quality, and growth and finance pillars. Seeing a patient for the first time within 14 days of scheduling turns out to have several benefits that include benefits to a patient's treatment outcomes, better satisfaction rates for providers, and a more stable revenue stream for the organization. It was here that I discovered my topic of interest within the internship. Studies showed me that the efforts made to lower the lead times associated with new patient appointments, maximize provider utilization in scheduling systems, and allow increased access to scheduling decisions made by patients not only increase patient satisfaction, but also have an impact on patients' health and well-being. A study in 2018 by A.K. Lewis and his team showed a link between efficiency and efficacy in early scheduling for new patients and positive health outcomes for the patients. While wait times for appointments are identified as having an impact, so does increasing patient intake and flow volumes in order to maximize scheduling potential. A consequence of long wait times for new patient appointments is the risk of no-shows or patients not showing up to their appointments. When a patient does not show up for a scheduled visit, that slot can go unfilled, and there's a waste of clinical time and services. Studies show that new patient appointments are at a higher risk of no-shows than returning patient appointments, even when the lead time is low. As the number of days a patient must wait to be seen increases, the more likely they are to be a no-show. New patient appointments have higher reimbursement rates from insurance providers than for return visits. Where many physicians were comfortable placing holds on daily schedules or preventing certain scheduling slots from being filled, systemic review and retooling of scheduling protocols could lead to increased availability for new patients and therefore increase daily revenue flow. Patient satisfaction scores are imperative drivers for services at patient-centered healthcare providers like Vanderbilt. Patient satisfaction drives the behaviors of clinical and non-clinical staff alike, which is important considering the community has many choices in who they can go to for their healthcare needs. Getting patients scheduled, in the door quickly, and served to their satisfaction is the driving force behind several of Vanderbilt's pillar goals. MPS coursework has proven to be beneficial and inspirational to me in my internship and my career. As I continue to learn and develop in my professional life, I also find the lessons and knowledge I gain from my courses to be relevant and useful. The process of taking an educational experience from conceptual to practical can be both a linear and nonlinear process. The next few slides will go into greater detail regarding this. During my internship, I've benefited greatly from the statistics and research methods classes I completed during my studies. One concept that has returned to me while I'm pulling data from various sources is how it's used to describe actual events. It tells a clinic's story regarding how efficient and effective a clinic is in seeing patients and how consistent it is in reaching the goals set forth by the organization. Learning about the differences between qualitative and quantitative data, how it is used and manipulated, and how reporting that data informs others has given me insight to how I approach my tasks. Corporate communications comes into play in the way that the information is gathered and presented to the clinic leadership and in the way the leadership cascades the information to its key stakeholders. I learned that it is important to adjust how the information is given depending on the audience. For example, executive leaders do not want to be bothered with minute details, but tend to prefer a high-level summarization of the data presented in an easy-to-read format and defined in clear, understandable terms. Using teams to facilitate organizational development will continue to be instrumental in informing the decisions I make throughout my career. Discussing these case studies with my peers and the professor helped cement the concepts we learned from the text and provided true concept to reality thought processes. It was a learning experience for me as well to discover that the priority of a human resources department is not primarily to benefit the employee, but in many ways to protect the organization from the actions of those they employ. This understanding has changed the way I view and approach the human resource department at my company and has informed the expectations that I have regarding their services as an employee and a leader. Working in healthcare, I'm always hyper aware of ethical considerations, especially where patients are concerned, but also in working with colleagues. Differences in professional positions affects the decisions, choices, and ethical constraints made by those in different roles. When presenting the specifics of organizational change to a group, ethics can be tested in the approach of presenting the same information to a multidisciplinary audience. Ultimately, the pressure is on my group to get buy-in and compliance from all parties regarding these proposed changes. Going forward, my training throughout the master's program will continue to guide my decisions. Understanding that the most successful organizations have plans for almost everything, including how to respond to the public in a crisis, and how this can mean the difference between a swift recovery or a potential second disaster if communications are not handled properly. Learning a new skill like writing grant proposals has showed me that it has benefits to an organization, even if it is not something I'll be using in my career path. We consider data as any collection of numbers, characters, images, or other items that provide information about something. Statistics helps us make sense of the information the data provides and see the underlying variations to find patterns and relationships within it. As I conclude this presentation, I want to thank my leadership at Vanderbilt University Medical Center, as well as the staff and instructors at MTSU for this opportunity. This program, including the internship, has left me with invaluable insight into the skills, tools, and ideals of how to be a successful leader. I entered the healthcare industry because I not only wanted the challenge of working as a leader in a fast-paced, ever-changing, and exciting environment, but also to know my work has a direct benefit of helping people in the community. In a way, the information I gathered in this internship has the potential to help shape decisions that can have a real positive impact on patients, providers, and the people who provide support.